Oh, well, the swig's on camera. We're going live. We are live. Hi, everyone. It is today TikTok. Yes, Carlo, we're on. We're 2 minutes.
TikTok, damn, Carlo, we're like 2 minutes late.
Shame on us. Skylar, perfect. I get this set up for work with y'all.
Sorry.
The backdrop, much appreciated. You're quite welcome, Skylar. Thanks for joining us. It is Saturday, October 14th, the day before the Dolphins moved to 5-1 on the season with.
Don't you do that?
Convincing victory
Don't you do that?
Carolina Panthers.
No, don't you do that?
Dude, the line's up to 14.5.
The line is substantial. I'm not going to deny that. How many times have you seen a Dolphins team drop a game that they shouldn't drop? Happens at least once a year.
5-0 as double-digit favorites since the start of the 2020 season.
All right, go to 2016 since double-digit favorites.
No, to 2016. You remember they started off like 1-4. They came back from the bottom. They were never double-digit.
All right, maybe they listen. I even gave you a playoff year too. I didn't say, damn, I didn't even go all the way to 2007. Like.
You actually think they were favored in any game in 2007?
Maybe one early. Yeah. Anyway.
No. Look, could they lose? Yes.
Even the fans are saying, "Don't do that, Alan. Don't do that. Don't do that."
Guys, I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. So it's okay. It's okay for me to look past this game. It's a 14.5 point spread. The Dolphins could play like dog poop, and they still would win.
Okay. Nope. I don't like that, and I don't agree with you. And there are a number of ways that I could possibly see this game going haywire.
Go ahead.
Bryce Young could be inspired by playing against his Alabama, not mentor, but the Alabama god, Tua, and he could put together an all Alabama performance. I could see DJ Chalk and Adam Thielen and Terrence Marshall and Latavius Shenault, who I remember watching in train with Bomarito. He is the size of a tight end. He's huge. He's Chase Claypool size. So who's going to match up against him?
And he's a Deebo Samuel type of guy.
Who's going to match up against him? That's a bad matchup for Miami. Not that he's having a great season, because he's not.
Nobody's that good. Bryce Young hasn't thrown for more than 247 yards in any game, and that was the opener against Atlanta, and they were -3 in the turnover ratio, which is why they lost.
Yeah.
Again, yes, it's not a lock that they're going to win, but let's say the degree of confidence is what, 97%.
97. Yeah. I mean, I'm not very confident I'm not pessimistic that they'll lose, but you still got to take care of business. You can play a sloppy game. Let's say they play a sloppy game like they played against the Giants. Yeah, a lot of things will have to happen for Carolina to still beat them.
You're trying to talk yourself into this.
Miles Sanders could go off for 150. You act like this deep run defense has actually done it.
Miles Sanders is out. He's got a shoulder injury. He was ruled out yesterday. He's one of 6 players the Panthers ruled out, including 2 of their starting safeties.
Boy.
This is about fine-tuning the game more than anything. Again, this is us talking. Mike McDaniel would never, ever, ever say that either publicly or to his players, nor should he.
Yeah.
But for us to analyze, it's about fine-tuning the game. It's about Liam Eichenberg showing progress as a starting center in place of Connor Williams. It's about Tua not making the same mistakes he made against the Giants. It's about Savon Ahmed reestablishing himself as a viable option in the running game after watching Devon Achane go nuts. It's about Christian Wilkins continuing to build on the last couple of weeks where he's starting to look like the 2022 Christian Wilkins. That, to me, is how I look at this game.
You know what it's about? It's about getting 489 yards to set a 6-game record for total yards produced offensively. That's what it's about for me. 400 and Mike White and Robbie Chosen and maybe Chase Claypool and Cedric Wilson. Let's get it. Let's set a record, because I feel cheated from them not going for the points. You know where I stood. I wanted to be in Canton. I wanted the Dolphins to be in Canton. I wanted Mike McDaniel's play sheet to be in Canton, and you can make that up for me with 489 yards.
Yeah, and I go back to that game and my whole thing. I have a hard time. I have a hard time balancing. You're not going for the record, and yet you're calling a deep shot to Robbie Chosen on a double move when you're up 56-13. You've been around long enough. Usually those games get.
Come on, man. Becca's got to eat too. You don't think Mike White has a perfect quarterback rating for an NFL game? How many times do you
in the fourth quarter against a team that quit? I mean,
that ball gets the 158.3 and the Dolphins colors, and it sits in my living room. Like
Mike White's.
Mike White's living room.
Oh, okay. You're speaking. Okay.
Like, there's no way. Like, and I will be complete. And I said this on QAM with the Joe Rose show, and I own it. Before Mario Cristobal's horrendous gaffe mistake last week, I wasn't a kneeler. I'm not kneeling at the end of a game. I don't take victory formations.
You do now, don't you? You do now.
I do now. Yes. Well, okay. Maybe I wouldn't do it if their game was within, like, if I had a 2-touchdown lead. I don't believe in that. Like, those stats count.
No, like, they don't. They do on paper and nowhere else. I mean, it's
you're kneeling in. Let's say you get to the red zone and you're kneeling in the red zone. Does that stat count against you?
Ridiculously so, yes, but it's completely ridiculous. First of all, and kneeling yardage counts against the quarterback's rushing totals, which also is completely ridiculous. And by the way, Omar, you're too young for this, but for those of us old enough, that wasn't the first time a game. There was a game in the NFL that was lost. You've heard of the Miracle at the Meadowlands, right?
Heard of it. Can't remember what it means.
Okay, well, the Giants were like, all they needed to do was kneel to beat the Eagles. Instead, for some reason, they decided to have their quarterback, Joe Pisarcik, hand off to Larry Zonka, who was with the Giants by then. He put the handoff like on his arm more so than in his stomach. Ball goes on the ground. Herman Edwards of You Play to Win the Game fame picks it up, sprints into the end zone for the touchdown. Eagles win. All they had to do was kneel. So it's not like there's no precedent for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm not kneeling if I'm up 2 touchdowns.
That's stat padding.
No, I'm running the ball. Like, if you want to stop me.
When the stats accumulated, when the outcome no longer is in doubt, absolutely should not count. But that's a different story. I mean, that's complete stat padding.
But I have learned from Mario Cristobal. You have the game in hand with less than a touchdown, you kneel.
Yes. Casey Jones, how important is the number 1 seed for Miami? It's huge.
Is it?
Yes, it's huge. It's huge. Huge. With a capital Y. It's huge.
It's huge. Okay.
You want to go play at Kansas City? You want to go play at Buffalo for the AFC Championship game?
Why does my stuff look okay? There we go. I'm trying to figure it out. Buffalo or Kansas City. So you say that the Dolphins absolutely have to have the number 1 seed?
No, I didn't say absolutely have to have. I'm saying, first of all, can we all agree that their speed is going to be more maximized if they play in good weather than they play in the cold?
Okay.
That's
reasonable.
Okay.
Logical. Okay.
Right. And that's where they're going to be if they go to the Super Bowl.
But they are the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. You need rushing yards for snow.
Yeah, stretching everything to the outside where their speed is the factor. They're not overpowering people. It's not Derrick Henry. It's not Derrick Henry bowling over defenders.
Touche. Well played again. You've trumped me on my second point.
I brought my game today, man. I brought my game.
We're finally getting Poupard, who's healthy. All right, he's back. He's not 70% anymore. I was a little worried there. I corrected you like 3 times earlier this week. That's not like you. You were slipping.
Yeah, well, see, I'm coughing just to prove I'm not 100% there yet. Purdy and Tua Super Bowl 84 all over again, both elite.
80. Oh, wow. You're talking about, okay.
That's Marino, Montana. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. They both have.
You know what's funny? We had these conversations with people this week, and there were a lot of 49er mentions this week. From the standpoint, like Alec Ingold was like, yeah, man, it was kind of looking, he watched the Monday night game. He was like, it's kind of looking at it like a mirror image of our team in terms of what they do and emotions. And then Frank Smith talked about it, and Frank Smith addressed the fact that, how they teach things are very similar, and they teach the why. And that's unique for me because I could tell you, I've probably gone 20 years. Players, they don't teach the why in the NFL. Why, I don't know. And Mike McDaniel, and I guess Mike, and against Kyle Shanahan, is big on teaching the players why. And last year, they didn't understand the why, or they didn't get the full vision of it because they were learning how to speak Spanish, as you've heard us use that reference all the time. And they weren't really good conversational Spanish. So the why wasn't necessarily able to be implemented. And now you could tell this team fully grasped and fully understands the why. Like the offensive line, they don't play for players. They play for aiming points. So if they're going left or they're going right, and we watch them practice this, they're going to a certain mark. And then who's in that mark is who's going to get it. And so last year you could tell they were not playing like that. And obviously a lot of that has to do with the poor coaching that they had, which it was true. Like Frank Smith had to babysit the unit all year.
The offensive line, yeah.
And that, yeah.
There's two differences. They are very similar. The two very distinct differences for me between the 49ers and the Dolphins is, number one, is the Dolphins have way more speed on offense. They're a lot more explosive, whereas San Francisco just
their power
methodically march down the field. And the other factor is San Francisco's got a Super Bowl defense, and the Dolphins, as of now, do not.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great question here by Juan Duarte. Y'all think Purdue is elite? Because it looks to me like he plays just like Tua. I don't think Purdue is elite. He's perfect for that system, just like I think.
I'm calling him Purdue. His name is Purdy.
Purdy, sorry.
And he is without a doubt. I thought he was elite last year when he started playing. You broke Tom Brady's records.
He is perfect for that system and playing elite level quarterback. Tua is perfect for the system the Dolphins are running, playing elite quarterback.
So the two quarterbacks playing elite quarterbacking, other than Patrick Mahomes this season, they're both a product of the system, right?
They are in a perfect system to fit what they do well. You're really going to call Brock Purdy elite?
I thought Brock Purdy was elite last year.
All right.
And I still believe that Brock Purdy is elite. Bro, you don't get rid of your first round pick that you gave up. You traded up and gave up 2 first round picks too.
Oh, that's because Trey Lance is dysfunctional. Come on, give me a break.
You don't know what he is. We don't know what he is. He has Jordan Love. He played as much as Jordan Love. You don't know what he is, but what they do know what Brock Purdy is, and Purdy is elite. The decisions, the quick. What I like about that system is you need to. It's either or selections. So the menu is either or. The problem is a lot of quarterbacks can't decide that either or. Purdy and Tua, either or. I see it. It's gone. Boom. Look, I'm out over there. I'm looking off this guy. He's moving where I'm looking. I'm going over here. That's how they play.
And
that does not work with every quarterback.
And my litmus test is you put them in other systems, see how well they do, and then put other quarterbacks from other teams, high-end quarterbacks from other teams, put them in this system, and then see how that works. And I think you will find that maybe they're not.
Name me 5 quarterbacks that would excel in this system without using the Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's and Justin Herbert's.
Joe Burrow. I mean, that's
okay. Joe Burrow. All right, I'll give you that one. Even though that's an elite quarterback and you're cheating, but I allow it
because those guys are elite.
All right, give me a quarterback that doesn't have a top 5 salary who would excel in this system. No top 5 salaries.
I have to look at my list of quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers with an Achilles.
Come on, Aaron Rodgers is making $50 million till he restructured his contract.
So Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, Trevor Lawrence. I'll take that.
I'm up to 6, and then you.
Oh no! You can't. I said you cannot use top 5 salaries.
Well, but there's a reason they're top 5 salaries. That's precisely my point.
Oh no! You're saying your theory is every quarterback. Ryan Tannehill can't run this.
No.
Andy Dalton can't run this. Joe Burrow can't run this.
Try again. Whoa, time out. Whoa. Excuse yourself. Joe Burrow, are you serious?
No. I mean, Joe Flacco. I'm sorry, my bad. Joe Flacco.
Dude, you're talking about middle of the pack, older guys.
But they were running the similar systems with the Jets.
And those guys, did anybody ever suggest for a millisecond that any of those guys were elite?
Joe Burrow was elite at one time. He was the highest paid quarterback in the league.
You're talking about Flacco again. You keep making
Joe Flacco, yes.
Joe Flacco had a couple of really, really good playoff runs. I don't know that. Yeah, champion partly because of the playmaking he had on the defense. Let's move on. Ohio John, thank you very much.
I still want my quarterbacks. I gave you Joe Burrow. You stole no, I took away Joe Burrow. I gave you Aaron Rodgers.
All the high-priced guys because they're high-priced because they're elite.
Okay, can Dak Prescott run it? Can Dak Prescott run it?
No, but I'm not a Dak Prescott. I think there's some people. Matthew Stafford. Thank you, Kelly Patterson.
Matthew Stafford. Okay.
We're up to 7 or 8, dude.
You need me 3 quarterbacks. Again. Give me 3 more quarterbacks.
Because you're eliminating.
Give me 3 more. Can Mac Jones run it? No. Who? Mac Jones.
No.
I need 3. Since you think it's so easy to do. Can Bryce Young run it?
We don't know yet.
All right.
Can CJ Stroud win it? We don't know yet. Okay. Ohio John.
No, we're not going nowhere. I need 3 more quarterbacks.
I've given you like 7 of them.
No, you have not.
I eliminate
the top 5 salaries. You're saying every quarterback can run it. Huh?
That's the dumbest. I didn't say any quarterback can run it. I am just saying that to throw out elite based on the way they're performing in a system perfectly suited for them. They're playing elite level quarterback. Does that necessarily make him
every
elite?
Quarterback cannot work in this system? Ryan Tannehill would look like ass in this system. He would.
But you stop throwing like
he's like $200 million. He's not bad.
He's completely average. He's extraordinarily, fantastically average.
Touche. Well played.
Okay.
But I still want my quarterbacks. You owe me 3 more quarterbacks.
Because I haven't given you enough. Jesus Christ. Hold on.
No, because I took away your Joe Burrow. The highest paid player in the league can run the system. Okay. Like, come on. I gave you.
But again, you're talking about Jared Goff. Jared Goff could run that system. Kirk Cousins could run that system.
Okay.
You want more?
You need 1 more.
I don't think Lamar Jackson's got the quick twitch
enough. He's a top 5 salary, so he doesn't count.
Wow.
Is he not?
And Jalen Hurts doesn't count. Deshaun Watson was another top 5 salary. I mean, we've eliminated like 7 or 8. Jimmy Garoppolo could run that system, and he did in San Francisco.
Okay, you win. Touche. You've named 5. But can Jimmy ever run it as well as Purdy or Tua?
His passer rating was right up there, the same, and they went to the NFC Championship game and they went to the Super Bowl with him.
All right. So you're saying that this system makes every quarterback.
I'm saying the system is very, very quarterback friendly, and if you have a certain set of skills required, and that not everybody has.
What are those skills?
Quick decision making, taking care of the ball, some sort of accuracy.
Okay.
Can we move on now?
Pocket presence?
I don't know that Jimmy Garoppolo has ever been accused of having great pocket presence. I don't know. Ohio John, I'm trying really hard to get to your question. Appreciate the donation, but Omar wants me to name 28 quarterbacks.
I said because you have this. You act like just everybody could just come run this, and they can't.
I didn't say no, but I can. I'm up to about a dozen who could.
You're close to a dozen. You're short, but yes.
Well, if you give me all the guys you disallowed me from using because they make too much money.
All I said is you couldn't use top 5 salary quarterbacks.
Can you explain to an O-line novice what it is specifically Liam struggles with? Is it an issue of strength, footwork, athleticism, or something else? Yes.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Liam struggles. You know, when they pass block and they pass set, Liam cannot hold his point. Whoever's got power, he's headed to the quarterback. That's Liam. And it just means that you're going to have to be a center in the NFL. Or maybe we try him at tackle again and we rely on his footwork to hang with the speed guys. Like, I'm not opposed to trying him at tackle again, but I don't
think he'll rush all game though if they put him at tackle.
Maybe depends if you got an Epinesa, and you know that's where. Damn, is this not working properly? Apple.
Troy Nuke says he has no anchor.
Yes,
very good.
And I don't know if this was. Here's my thing. And I did not watch every Dolphin game live last year. Sometimes I was traveling for work and I had to catch the end of it or watch it on a replay or watch the 30-minute version. So I was never ever really taking the time to look at the coaches, the all 22. And so I thought Liam was fine. I really thought he was fine. And I realized he only played like half the season last year. Then I started to look at some of these motions that Miami was doing and looking at last year's film to see how much it had elevated their motions. And lo and behold, something that I discovered was, whoa, Liam really sucked last year. Like he wasn't very good. And I had previously thought that he was okay, not good, but okay. But then I realized watching those plays, like this guy really sucked in pass protection. And then we get to training. I just discovered that during the season. Then in training camp, what happened was he was getting his face kicked in by Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer, which is completely understandable. Everybody gets their face kicked in. Then we started getting joint practices, and then he wasn't doing well the first week, and then he broke his ribs in the game. And so, in fairness to Liam, we kind of put the rib injury as a factor to why he really struggled. But then he's resurfaced again. The ribs are healthy, and he's playing center. Now, I will openly, honestly admit that I was a little bit brutal on Liam after the Buffalo Bills game, but for valid reasons. One, you hurt.
You're mean.
Huh?
Because you're mean. Sorry.
You hurt the best player on the team. The third best player on the team in Teron Armstead. You were responsible. And I'm very proud for the fact that he did take ownership for that. He did say, it was my responsibility. He told me it's okay. These things happen. Also, Miami's offensive line got mauled to death by 4 pass rushers against the Buffalo Bills, to the point where Buffalo's like, yeah, we don't even need the blitz. Why bother? Because they can't block us with 4. And Liam was primarily responsible for all of that. And it wasn't like they were attacking him, but his job is to help. And he won't help with nobody. But in fairness to Liam, and this is something that I admitted yesterday to Brian Flores, to Mike McDaniel, and he kind of made a joke about it. They had always excused Liam's performance with it's the guy's first time at center. Like, what did you guys expect it to be? It's a hard position to play. And there's a lot of leadership that comes from the center position in terms of the identifications. And if you go read an alldolphins.com story I have on really Connor Williams, who I think will be sidelined for more than just this one game. I'm also not very optimistic that he plays against the Eagles, or he plays against the Eagles and then gets shut down for a couple of weeks. So these are your choices, because they don't feel like this growing issue is going to go away. And every time you play him, it's going to get worse. So they might have to shut him down for a good 3-week stretch, probably heading into the bye, and then revisit playing him end of the season if you don't want this to be an issue in February, which is what Mike McDaniels is concerned about. And everything for this team is about how are we going to play in February.
Yeah,
right?
Can I jump in? Here's the thing I was going to say about Liam is the thing that's very disappointing is I talked to Notre Dame folks when the Dolphins got him, and the word on him was he's probably not going to become. Notre Dame's produced a lot of really, really good offensive linemen. Zach Martin, why did the names escape me right now? I don't know, and I was told Liam's never going to reach that kind of level, but he's going to be good the second he steps into the NFL. And damn, that's not panned out. And what makes it worse is the Dolphins basically spit up a third-round pick, gave it to the Giants so they could move up in that second round in 2021. Whoa. New look there, Omar. They moved up from 50 to 42 to get Eichenberg, which basically now cost you 2 draft picks. And is he salvageable? Can he become a solid, dependable backup offensive lineman? Jury's still out. I like the look, Omar. Looks cool.
I'm having migraines in the blue screen. These are my blue screen glasses, so I gotta try to curb it as it's starting to flare up. Looking at the screen is kind of like giving me challenges here. This isn't helping either, but it is super dark. When we talked to Liam this week, Liam said something, and I quoted it in the story. And let me pull up the story so I can quote him accurately, because these are things that I'd never really factored in or calculated, which is why you really need to talk to guys and find out what their stories are and know that burner is not Liam's. It is what it is, y'all.
You mean Nancy?
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's already told you he's Nancy. Damn, where's the story? Interesting.
Okay. In the meantime, while you think about this, G-Firm's proposing some new names for the offense: Fast Motion, Miami 500, and lastly, Life's a Beach, inspired by Mostert's TD celebration.
This has got to be something where 20 years from now you're not going to be embarrassed by what the name of it is. Which Life is a Beach, not for me. We will continue to, and I told the people I'm going to present the names to Tyreek and let him greenlight them or poo-poo them, and and I'm pretty sure he will be a very harsh critic. Let's get to Liam. When you're playing center for the first time, it's an environment like that. No, that's the coach. Okay, here's a quote. He said, "What are you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Get me set." This is from his teammates. And his response is like, "Give me a second. Like, I can't read the defenses that quickly, figure out their disguises, and then make the right call. Like, I'm not comfortable." And it's really his job and Tua's job. And so it seemed like a lot of that burden fell on Tua. And because it was Tua couldn't get into his pre-snap stuff and the motions. And they had the silent count, and it's easy to jump off or get a good jump off on the silent count. So it was a whole hot hodgepodge of mess that wasn't all Liam's fault.
Another factor at play also there was they were playing at Buffalo, where the crowd was loud when the Dolphins had the ball. Tomorrow they're playing at home, where logically, and the part of the reason you didn't see nearly as much motion against the Bills as we have in other games. Again, Buffalo crowd noise, where Tyreek can't just anticipate the snap. That played a factor in it.
Yes, it did. Absolutely played a factor in it. And what was interesting is that they pumped in a lot of crowd noise last week. Like all practice, we heard nothing but crowd noise because we're there, so we hear it. And last week was a home game against the Giants. This week, no crowd noise. What's quiet? And I'm like, if you're trying, and I get where they're coming from. Maybe they thought the Giants were a hostile environment, but you're going to have to go play in Philadelphia. You need to get Liam used to making these decisions and calls in crowd noise. You need to get used to the silent count. And Liam practiced all week. That was Liam's show to run, and you didn't pump up any noise. Maybe you felt like you needed to communicate with him. Maybe this is a week where you want all the communication to be heard, and you want to see what he could do at his best. And I think that honestly is what this week is about, because I do believe that Connor Williams is pricing himself out of Miami at this point. Yeah, I know he's not healthy right now, but people who were balking at paying him $10 million a year at center, yeah, he's a $10 million center. And if you don't want to pay that's why they have free agency. And so you need to figure out what you're going to do as his replacement. And right now, Liam is your top option, and you need to figure out whether or not this is a desirable option or not. And I'm not sure that they're there yet. I mean, obviously the answer would be no so far, but I think that that's why you're going to see him this week, to see if this is something that can be built on.
Yeah, there are currently 6 centers who average $10 million a year. Jason Kelsey, Frank Ragnow, Ryan Jensen, Corey Lindsley, Ryan Kelly, and Eric McCoy. So I think your $10 million a year number is not completely crazy.
Yeah.
AB Productions, thank you very much. Which of your takes from training camp do you think you were most off on after 5 weeks in the regular season? And what were you spot on about? I was spot on about everything, personally.
I think you were in the crowd of people who were panicking about the offense, because
I was not panicking about the offense. I was in a let's wait and see mode. Sorry, I'm not going there.
Oh, come on.
No.
All right, you weren't panicking. Some people, Beasley was panicking. Yes.
Yeah, no.
I will say they've shut me up about depth so far, but also they're injured at the right positions.
Not at center.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. But I supported the trading of Dan Feeney because he sucked. Let's be real about it. He wasn't good. And I know you want to excuse it on the leg injury. No, he wasn't going to help you.
Most often, maybe that Chain was going to be as dynamic as he was. I don't know if I saw that coming.
I still stand on that one. I still stand on that.
The what?
Achane. Achane. No, I think Ahmed has just as much talent as Achane. Does he have speed like Achane? No.
Yeah.
The guy's averaging 10 yards a carry.
Yeah, but that's he's got 365-yard runs, so that's going to skew the average just a little bit. Yeah, and yes, I know before somebody throws out there, yes, they count. I get that. But in when the dude's played 3 games plus one snap, you get 3 long runs like that. Yeah, that's going to skew the average just a little bit crazily.
And let me correct myself. He's averaging 12.1 yards.
12.1, correct.
Which is ridiculous.
The one that was spot on, well, I hate to do this, but Jalen Phillips, and I know I was kind of pushing back against Peter Schrager from NFL Network, saying he's going to bust out Star with 15 or 16 sacks. And injuries aside, I like Jalen Phillips as a player a lot. As a guy even more. I don't see that kind of like sack production from him. That's not the player he is. To me, he's going to be between 8 to 10 sacks every year, solid. But again, I don't see the wiggle. I don't see the pass rushing moves to get to double digits like Cameron Wake did.
I disagree with you. I think he's a double-digit sack guy, but I understand your concern. I understand your wiggle. I understand. It's funny. I had a conversation with him yesterday about whether he's going to play, and he's just like, "Surprise for me, surprise for you." And that really is the truth about the matter. Like, he's practiced and he's worked hard all week to try to convince the coaches that he's got the movement skills and the ability. Whether they're going to green light him this week or next week, who knows? I would not play him because I need him next week. And I'm going to let Andrew Van Ginkel and Emmanuel Ogbah continue to eat. I'm sure he would like to get involved in this game, but why chance suffering a setback when we need you for later on in the season? But he made the point of saying that, and he's very happy about what Andrew Van Ginkel is and what he's doing, and how everybody just underestimates Van Ginkel because of what he looks like. And then we had all these jokes about deceptively fast and a really heady player, and all the little things that they say about Caucasian players and he's like, Andrew is very athletic. And I asked him where he got that spin move from. And he was like, Melvin Ingram. Like Melvin Ingram taught all of us his spin move. And Van Ginkel's the one who's incorporating it into the game. And I talked to Van Ginkel after last week's game, and I was like, where did that spin move come from? And he's like, I've always had it. It's just I have to have the ability to set guys up. If you set guy up, and then when you got him ready, you give him the spin. It's and he's like, I never get those snaps to set people up. And
you have to get the tackle leaning outside because he's afraid of you beating him to the outside, and that's when you do the spin. I want to address my buddy Dana here for a second. Says the 49ers got rid of Jimmy because he couldn't run the system good enough. Wrong, my friend. The 49ers got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, A, because he was always injured, B, because he was becoming too pricey, and they already had the investment in Trey Lance. So,
they went and got.
And then when Brock Purdy took over, they saw that Brock Purdy could run the system just as well as him. So there was no point in keeping another high-priced guy. Had nothing to do with him not being able to run the system. Go ahead.
And the 49ers are one of my favorite teams. So, yes, everything he said is right.
And it's pretty amazing, too, that you want to talk about one of the worst trades in the last 10 years in the NFL. I mean, other than Russell Wilson, 49ers giving up basically 3 first-round picks for the right to move up and get Trey Lance. Except they've made so many other great decisions that basically it's like, oh well, we flushed, it's like you and I flushing $1,000 down the toilet,
They are so well run for them to go out and go get. They already had a very strong, stout defensive line, and then they went out and got the Eagles defensive lineman. I can't remember his name.
Ron Hargrave.
Yes, yes, Hargrave. Like, come on, man. That and they didn't have cap space. They let go of their linebacker and they basically just, put Fred Warner in the inside, and it just looks magnificent. It truly is what the 49ers have been able to create. And I actually know people in the front office of the 49ers, and they have truly, truly, truly done a masterful job of building a roster. And I would say if you're going to look at these rosters, the difference of them are, is Jake Brendel really their starting center? Jesus Christ!
No, he's been with them for a while. I don't know if he's their starting center. But.
Yeah, look, I'm looking at their depth chart. He's their starting center. He's with the Dolphins for a minute. They're built with power, whereas Miami is built with speed.
And they also find dudes in the draft like crazy. Like the safety they got. I mean, he's a hell of a player. Man, he's good. The Polynesian dude in that safety.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That dude can play. And Fred Warner.
Where'd they get him? What draft? Okay, USC.
4th or 5th round or something like that.
Yeah, man. Okay, 5th round. 180th pick. It's
about. That guy's a dude. I mean, he is a dude.
Mm.
Thank you very much, DJ Galaga. Or Galaga. Sorry, you don't know.
Galaga. DJ Galaga. Even they missed on Javon Kinlaw, and they're just like, all right, whatever. Missed on well, actually, no. How did he end up there? He signed there.
Who?
Farrell, the Clemson kid.
Alan Farrell. Yeah, and well, the Raiders gave up on him.
The Raiders
moving with purpose. Killer Smurf. Thank you for the suggestions, Mike.
Corny. Now, I do need to put somebody.
Go ahead.
I do need to put somebody in charge of like accumulating these names so that I can present Tyreek with them next week, because we need to like narrow down the top 5, because it's, I'm not going to sit there and list off 12 names for him, because, but Tyreek is game. Tyreek is game. We have these back and forth conversations that, I find entertaining.
VJ525 asking Gronk to Miami. I'm sure you saw that clip of Gronkowski talking about how fun this Dolphin offense is and what they need is a tight end, and I could see myself playing on that.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. I don't even know the outlet with which he did the interview, but
I think he lives down here too.
It's really eye opening on the surface. Don't hold your breath. It ain't happening. Mark, gone in 60 minutes. I like that.
I know he lives down here. I don't know what time during the season. I don't know, but all right.
Diedrich, could it be Tua's early struggles that a lot to do with him being a shell of himself physically in year 1 and 2 compared to 3 and 4? Flores would like this Tua. To that, I say, I'm going to say something here and then I'll duck. I don't see a ton of differences physically. And for those who say and I will always bring this up to those who say, well, Tua in his first year, like he was, coming back from the hip injury, is unfair to expect anything, as Omar's rolling his eyes. Hear me out before you roll your eyes. In terms of scrambling and throwing, could we not make the argument that maybe his best game, or at least a top 5, was at Arizona, which happened to be 2020 in his second start? So if he was physically limited, sure as hell didn't show in that particular game. No, I don't. To me, Tua physically, kind of the same dude. Omar, you apologize for you rolling your eyes at me.
No.
Now that you've heard the point, now that
no.
now that you've heard the point I was making.
I can't remember. Let's start with, and I was partly rolling my eyes about the Brian Flores comment. I don't think there's anything that Tua could have done to make Brian Flores like him. Their first interaction,
grow 4 inches.
No, their first interaction at the combine, the man literally attacked him. And don't believe me, go read Safid Dean's story from Tua's camp. Like, yo, y'all got the Dolphins in love with me. Like, this guy just attacked me. Like, these are facts. And so I don't understand. I'm concluding now that Tua was forced on Brian Flores. How, when I know Chris Greer, and Chris Greer isn't going to give you a quarterback that you don't want, that doesn't connect with me.
Stephen Ross, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, but you can look at Stephen. Okay, I hear where you're coming from, but I will respond with this. Like, Stephen Ross is not forceful. When has Stephen Ross forced anything on this organization? Not ever. So yes, he was outnumbered.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Maybe he made an exception there. After the year before, he wanted Lamar, and Chris Greer was like, "No, we're not taking Lamar." Maybe the following year, after the Dolphins,
Chris Greer was like, "No, we're not taking Lamar because Adam Gase didn't want Lamar. Adam Gase was the reason they didn't get Lamar. They didn't want Lamar."
But the bottom line is that Stephen Ross made his preference known and was kind of,
as he should.
That's fine, but you don't think that he pushed a little bit harder than next year? Like, listen, guys, I wanted Lamar. You guys didn't take him. The season was about tanking for Tua. I want Tua.
If the mythology behind that situation is that Flores wanted Jordan Love, wanted offensive lineman, and then to take Jordan Love. Okay, so then we have to rule out the fact that Herbert wasn't ever in the equation for Miami. Is that fair to say? Which would be mistake number one.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I think you've heard that more directly than I have. But yes, I have heard that.
So none of this whole thing makes any sense to me. When you know all of the players involved, none of it, when you put it all together, none of it makes any sense to me. Like, the only thing that I can compute in my head is like Carfinkel got a vote and outvoted everybody, and just made the vote. But Tom Garfinkel isn't a football evaluator, and the QB football evaluation is the most important. So if Tom
has a lot of juice.
Tom got the juice. Tom's got more juice than anybody else in the organization. Yeah. So, and this is where it doesn't make any sense to me. And I get it. It was all slanted towards Tua. But Chris Greer, is Chris Greer going to give a head coach a quarterback he doesn't want?
Normally, no.
Okay. Is Steve Ross going to force a player on an organization or force their hand in talent evaluation. Like he's flat out told me, I don't know how to evaluate talent, so I don't do it. So
yeah, but I think there was more. It was more than just strictly talent when it came to Tua. It was like the aura of Tua and all of that.
you're right.
This
You're
is
right.
where I think that maybe he
yes.
like.
That's where Tom Garfinkel probably got his hands a little dirty, and valid and right and just. Now, obviously, when you dump Flores because he couldn't play with everybody, and that's fair and valid. He didn't play nicely with others, and then hired this run game coordinator, everybody's BFF, who all of a sudden helps Tua clean up his game and become the most efficient and effective quarterback in the NFL, one of the most efficient and effective quarterback in the NFL. They look right. They look right.
Yeah, no.
And Brian Flores looks stubborn and mean.
And to some, it's like he could never coach anything at all, even though the guy was a great defensive X's and O's guy.
Phenomenal defensive coordinator. I think it was valid to fire him because he was never going to be able to hire an offensive coach for his staff. And okay, I'm on board, but I will say this: I didn't like the fact that this team is, you continue to build for this what you're building now, and it was a reset that you just said inserted Mike McDaniel and continue to build, and all of a sudden it's just taken off. So everything that he did was right or valid or.
It's taken off when they got the opportunity to trade for Tyreek, which was a complete game changer. And
okay, so you're saying that it wouldn't be the same if they didn't have Tyreek?
Wouldn't be to this level, or are we going to argue this now? It wouldn't.
No, I'm genuinely curious because you think Tyreek, and I'm not ruling it out. You think Tyreek completely changes the dynamic of the trajectory of this team?
Absolutely. Tyreek was a complete game changer in a lot of different ways. And then they because you're almost talking about like everything happened and like with happenstance. Well, they also shelled out a crap load of money for a great left tackle who can't stay healthy. So they spent, they were like, they had a plan and they were like going to go for it. And again, I would make the argument all along that Stephen Ross ain't getting any younger and he wants to make things happen in like now. So, which is why he's not afraid of, like, as you've said before, Tyreek, you want a new big contract? Go, here we go, some money. Teron, let's go with more money. Bradley Chubb, you go more money. So they're not afraid to spend it. And right now they're reaping the rewards of that. Kelly, you said we were both wrong. We both underestimated Echan. Didn't I just admit that? You want me to admit it again? You're trying to break me down, Kelly? Yes, I underestimated Echan.
I still stand on the fact he's not that much better than any of the backs on this team. And I will argue to you, what's the number you have of his first contact? He's like averaging 7 yards.
Before contact, 7.1. That's crazy.
Like, bro, he's at 7.1 yards before somebody even touches him. Like, what running back would not do well in that situation? Like, you don't think that all of these backs got the speed to do that? And I get it. Everything that they're doing is a byproduct. Everything is feeding off each other. It's like a fungus that just continues to just like take root and takes like everything is feeding off each other to the point where like play calling, offensive line play, the auxiliary play of the tight end, the fullback, the running game, run back blocking, wide receiver blocking, deep threat, run after catch. It's like, what are they doing wrong? Except for even my biggest criticism of this offense is the red zone, and they're converting 70% in the red zone.
In the red zone? Yeah, I think they're number one in the league, actually.
Yeah. And that is my biggest criticism of this team. Like, their red zone is not very good, but still they're the best. Like, they got to work too hard in the red zone is my point.
Thank you, Armello. I want to make a point here, our buddy Kelly. Spot on improvement from Jackson. He's been a totally different guy. Here's the thing. Do we even know what Austin Jackson was last year? He played parts of 2 games. Really, when he made the move to right tackle. So why are we assuming he would have sucked at right tackle and all of a sudden, boom? Is it possible that maybe all along moving to right tackle in this scheme was going to unleash his potential?
I'm laughing because I would like to share with our podcast family an exchange that a number of us had with Austin Jackson last week. And I wasn't a main person involved in the exchange. I believe it was David and Daniel and somebody else were talking to Austin, like, bro, like, you're really good. And you know, what, like, you know, what, you know, why are you really this good? And then I'm going to cut to the chase, but he's like, yeah, I've always believed I was this good. I just never really had a chance to settle in. And, you know, I realized guard wasn't the right spot for me. I've always had confidence that I was going to be I was always going to be a tackle. And then he goes, some people might not have believed in me. And then he goes like this and looks at me. And I'm like, what can I say? Like, and he's referring to, there was a column that I wrote in his second season as the starting left tackle.
Not for alldolphins.com. That's why it was a bad column. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it was for the Sun Sentinel. And it was a column that basically was like, if you want to save this guy's career, you got to move him from left tackle. He's clearly shown he cannot play that position. And it was a non-negotiable column. Like, you effed up. And if you want to save his career, you got to move him from left tackle. And the next day he was moved from left tackle. And so I take, you know, and I took that bullet. He was like, some people, and he's looking dead at me. And I was just like, guilty, take the charge. I mean, but even from the very beginning, when we began training camp, I've said, like, he looks okay. Like, we don't know if he can play. And people was like, oh, he sucks. I was like, he played 66 snaps last year. And majority of those snaps, he was hurt. Like, he got injured, played through the injury the first game, rehabbed the injury, came back from IR, played like half a game.
And was done.
Re-aggravated the injury and was done. And everybody's like, he sucks at right. I didn't know what he looked like at right tackle.
Correct. Nobody did, and that's the thing. It was like,
yeah, and but he. I was like, guilty as charged. I was like, but I have stood up for him this entire time, and said, hey, he's probably been the best performing offensive lineman throughout training camp, and I can't sit there and tell you that he's not good because he's locking up Jalen Phillips every single day.
Been solid. Eric, thank you very much. How about the greatest show on surf? I'm sorry to tell you, Eric, that's been brought about before, and it's been pretty dismissed. I want to address some Phillips comment here that are harsh. Phillips is a bust even when he wasn't injured. Rob Bud, Phillips is a borderline jag. Eric Rivera, Phillips has to get stronger. Have you seen Jalen Phillips?
Like, bro, have you seen Jalen Phillips?
Seriously? The dude is
ripped. Bro, Jalen Phillips is like built like a Greek Adonis. Like, there is no inch of body fat on that guy. He's massive to the point he might be a little bit stiff.
Correct. He's getting injured. He's getting soft tissue injuries because he's too cut. I mean, forget that has to get stronger. Sorry.
And he said yesterday, I built this body to withstand from injuries, to shed my injury-prone reputation I had in college, which I was like, okay. Well.
Yeah, but they're fluky. I mean, he had a motorcycle accident or somebody ran into him when he was biking and he got a concussion. I mean, that's he's not a borderline jag. He's a solid player. I just don't think he's Cameron Wake reincarnated or something like that.
The Cameron Wake is a freak of nature athletic. There are so very few freak of natures that I've seen in life in terms of guys that athletically could do whatever they wanted. Andre Johnson, Cameron Wake, and Brent Grimes. Like, those guys are just like literally like Cameron Wake's body and body bend and like mastery of his body when he was, young and in his prime. There was nothing like him. He could turn the corner. He could get low and turn the corner. He'd be like this much off the ground. I'm sorry, this much off the ground, turn the corner with a bend. And that was an elite play. Can Jalen Phillips do that? No, he cannot do it.
And like Phillips, Wake was another guy who was cut with muscle on top of muscle, but yet he had the athletic ability to be able to do what you said, like turn the corner and get really low and bend. Alan, thank you very much. Over the last 20 years or so, there has been an increase in joint and ligament. Do you guys think that it might be because kids are hitting the weights at a much earlier age than they should? I think the fact that the players are bigger and stronger, I think there probably is more wear and tear on the joints and ligaments. That would be my very, very, very unmedical professional opinion, even though I did stay at a Holiday Inn when we were in Houston. Yes? No? Okay.
I don't really see. I mean, football is a very brutal physical sport, and I don't think anything that they do, you're not meant to play that for 17 games. And I think it's only a matter of time before your body wears down. And I will say this. I give guys like Christian Wilkins and Rob Hunt, who have played their entire durations of their contracts without significant injury. Those guys are freaks of nature, or either the luckiest SOB. Jerome Baker's in that group as well. Like, the fact that you have 3 guys that have just been healthy their entire career, like, that's crazy. And it might be like something that you try to bottle and figure out what it is about those guys that allow them to be healthy their entire career. Because I have no idea. And if you look at all 3 of them, they're completely 3 different body types. And they've got like nothing in common. I don't even think they have any pregame routine. I wouldn't know from Christian, but in terms of like acupuncture, cupping, massages, like when I worked with I Am Athlete, the one thing that I really realized, and I don't think the average fan realizes this, but like more than likely, like Teron Armstead, to get through to a game, he's doing acupuncture, he's doing cupping, he's doing chiropractor, he's doing 3 massages per week, like, and that's just to get to Sunday. And this is what the elite players do. And even I remember when Reggie Bush was here, one of the things that Reggie Bush would always encourage his younger players to do was, hey, you got to get these routines and be serious about them, because they're going to help you be at your best and last as long as you do. But weightlifting, joint and ligaments, nah, I don't. Like, these guys have been lifting weights for 20 years. Like, it's nothing to.
I'm going to go back one last time. This is the last I'm going to say about it, because people apparently refuse to accept the fact. Jimmy Garoppolo had 3 full seasons as the 49ers starting quarterback. His passer rating was over 102 in 2 of those 3 years. So please stop with the Jimmy G sucked. It wasn't good enough. He didn't stay healthy long enough, and he was getting expensive. That's why the 49ers moved on. Please get your facts straight.
This is correct. 1,000% correct. And they wouldn't have moved on if they weren't in position to draft Trey Lance. And truthfully speaking, they just got lucky on Brock Purdy.
Correct.
And just like the Patriots got lucky on Tom Brady, and the Dallas Cowboys got lucky on Tony Romo. I want to get lucky like that too. Be honest with you, because you have a elite quarterback that you don't have to draft, and you have him on cheap for 4 years.
Cheap, and it helps you build a roster around them too, which is another part of the equation. Yeah. Folks,
and Seattle got lucky with Russell Wilson. Sometimes you just get lucky, man. Sometimes you get lucky.
Well, Russell Wilson was a great quarterback in college. As a lot of teams were freaked out because he was short.
Yes, I told my Russell Wilson story.
And by the way, yes, Russell Wilson would do well in this offense. Go ahead.
Oh, you could have had that one. That would have been a layup for you. No, I don't think you would have, because they said, from what I'm told, Russell Wilson likes to hold on to the ball and improvise. He doesn't do timing. He doesn't do timing routes. So
maybe if he's got Tyreek and Waddle on both sides, maybe it would have changed. James Bond, Miami Mac 10 or McMac 10?
Well, I don't get the Mac 10, Miami Mac 10. No, I don't get it. It's just we're just trying too hard. It's gotta come organically. Mac 10.
Kelly goes, there aren't any good ones. Forget the nickname thing.
I mean, but if you want this offense to be, if they're going to break the best, what is it? The turf, something turf. What is it?
Greatest show on turf.
Yeah, greatest show on turf. That's 4 words. I mean, that when you say that name, it comes to mind. You think immediately about Kurt Warner and Gam. Who the receivers?
Come on, dude, you don't think of Kurt Warner first. You think of
Marshall Faulk. I do think of Kurt Warner.
First, that's not what you did last time. I told you. Last time I told you Rams offense quickly. Who you came up with? Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, then Kurt Warner, and then Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil getting emotional after winning the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, Dick Vermeil.
And by the way, you do know who the quarterback was in training camp, right? For that Rams
Trent Green?
Trent Green, supposed to be Trent Green.
Mm-hmm.
How about that, right?
How about that?
MBOT Network, should the Dolphins try to receive the ball first to force teams to play catch up with them since they score the majority of first drives? It's an interesting thought, but I think every coach loves the idea of being able to do the combo in the first half.
Madden changed that, right? The game Madden, and there have been stories written on this. The game Madden and the approach of Madden, where that's what players, when Madden was like massive, used to say, okay, I'm kicking off because I want the ball at half. Before Madden was doing it and players gravitated to Madden playing that style, did it. The NFL didn't do it. The NFL, they wanted the ball first. And, and we all know that Mike McDaniel's a big Madden guy. So
he's on a big analytics guy. And the other thing too is, while your premise makes sense to a certain level, because the Dolphins do score more often than not on their first drive, if you take the ball first and whoops, you either have a turnover or you have a 3-and-out, whatever, then the other team has a quick strategic advantage.
I used to like it when you had a Dolphins defense that was actually respectable. 6 plays in, they'd get you a punt and you'd be starting the ball at the 30 or 40, and loved it, especially when you had good returners. Yeah, but I could understand the thought process, but I think that they're more focused on having the ball at the end of the half, being able to make their adjustments, and then starting the second half with the ball.
I'm going to go here. The Liverpool King. Yes, let's listen to Allen instead of Tua's trainer, who literally said Tua should not even have been on the field this first year. Laugh my ass off. Yes, because I'm sure the Dolphin training staff didn't look at Tua at all or decided, no, he's not ready, but damn it, we took him in the first round. He's going to get on the field. Come on now.
Really? I've actually never heard Nick Hicks say that. I don't know if he has said that. I have no idea. But sure I was not a supporter of Tua playing his first year. I understand why it was done, because they needed to know and they need to speed up the development. But that was Ryan Fitzpatrick's team, and the team was pissed that it was taken from him. Pissed.
They were coming off 24-point wins, 2 in a row to get to 3-3.
And I will double down on the fact that I think the fact that it was stolen from Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is everybody's favorite teammate,
correct,
that led to some of the harsh feelings that his teammates had about Tua, and it led to, they put him in a really bad situation when they did that.
And I am of the opinion, even though I this is my gut feeling based on my observational powers, that wasn't a Brian Flores move either. He was told the bye. Do you remember that schedule was changed that year because of COVID? And then the bye was moved up to after week 6. And I think it was predetermined that Tua was going to get in after the bye. And then Brian Flores was told, you're going to put Tua in and you're going to like it. Because he had made comments actually a couple of weeks before saying about how he didn't want to put Tua in yet because he wanted to not put him in a vulnerable position. So I think the idea that it was Flores' call strictly to put Tua in the lineup, knowing what we know about him, not necessarily being crazy about Tua, I think that's no. And Liverpool King, by the way, listen to Nick all you want. I'm not. I said what I said.
We're not having any Nick Hicks slander here. I don't want any.
Well, no, the dude slandered me here by saying, of course, because Nick Hicks said it. It was.
I had never heard Nick Hicks say that. Yeah. And I'm I whether he played or whether he should have played or he shouldn't have played, it doesn't make a difference. They decided that he played. I kind of agree with you. That didn't seem Brian Flores didn't even like it.
Correct.
So all of a sudden,
we're supposed to believe he actually rushed him into the lineup because he couldn't wait to see him.
And it created a huge divide with his team.
Yep.
And it just didn't make any sense. And then it puts Tua in a position where he's got to win over his team. And like he's over here, everybody's over there feeling bad for Mr. Popular, pouting. And I will say this. Fitz didn't have no COVID in the final game. Fitz was like, I'm out. Deuces. Bye. See y'all. And he was done. And I understood it. Like this is like Fitz viewed that team as his chance to actually shed that I can't lead a team to the playoff. And that's why people like really mock him because he was crying in the press conference. He was literally hurt.
Oh, he was devastated.
He was devastated. Yeah. And he understood why and what this was about. And it's part of the NFL. But he was hurt. And that's part of the reason Shane Gailey quit. And it really undermined Brian Flores on every level. So it didn't make any. And then Brian Flores putting Fitz out there to win games. Like that whole season was just, I don't know how we didn't see like it coming. Like Flores, like when you recall and replay all those situations, you're kind of sitting there and like thinking to yourself, like, man, this team was really working against itself.
And in 2019, also when they go to Josh Rosen and like, nah, we've seen enough. And they put back Ryan Fitzpatrick in there.
And he couldn't have done. He wouldn't have lasted that whole season. They would have quit on him. That team would have quit on him if they played Josh Rosen.
But that's fine. But that's fine. The plan, the whole thing was a reset, tanking. Why? And
not his plan. Not his plan.
Perfect excuse to do it. Hey, we just gave up a second and a fifth round pick for Josh Rosen. We need to see over the course of a full season what we have in him.
That was dumb in itself too, and I will fault Chris Greer for it.
And for me is you can fault the scouting and not seeing the guy's limitations. Sorry,
Chris. I mean, Josh Rosen sucked, and you knew he sucked.
You didn't know he sucked because
he sucked. Adam Gase didn't want him.
He's got all the physical tools. No, Adam Gase wanted Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen. He's got all the physical tools, except he's, how should I put this very politely? Kind of a rich kid who knows everything and can't be told anything.
Wow.
But I remember seeing him after his first practice with the Dolphins and watching him throw the ball. I was like, holy smokes, that ball comes out. I mean, damn, dude's got some zip. And then the 11-11 start, and it's like, oh, this dude has no clue what he's doing. But I will never fault a team at that point, especially when you keep looking for a quarterback, take a shot. I didn't have any problem with that.
He sucked. He sucked in Arizona.
It's easy to say after. It was his rookie. Again, I can name you some other quarterbacks who weren't great as rookies who are flourishing 3 years after the fact.
Don't you dare.
Immediately.
Don't you dare.
Dude, be fair.
No, he did not suck as a rookie. Don't do that to him. He
was pedestrian at best. You're going to argue that? My Lord.
I am going to argue that because it's disrespectful. What the hell was he working with? Nothing. And he still produced a winning record.
Because of the defense. No, let's not even go there. George, the coach to town, and yes,
64% completion percentage.
Passer rating.
Passer rating was 87.1.
87. That's booty cheeks.
Better than Tannehill.
You love going back to Tannehill. It's fun. Omar, I'm disappointed in you if you can't.
He did not.
Can't even admit that he was pedestrian as a rookie.
Let me, bro. What did you want this man to do? Walk on water? Like
don't
receivers.
Don't shut up my butt and tell me he was good as a rookie because he wasn't good as a rookie. Sorry.
Okay, let's look at the because you're gonna really make me go in here because
Brad Martin, thank you very much. A group of Dolphins is called Pods. How about the greatest pods on turf?
no, he doesn't want
No,
anything turf. He doesn't
hold
want
on.
anything Legion.
Just kidding. But now you know, LOL. It's funny.
Okay, Arizona game 122.3 passer rating. Next game against the Chargers 106.9. I know you're gonna say Chargers defense sucks.
What year were we talking about?
2019. No, 2020.
Tua's rookie year. Okay.
Then we get to Cincinnati, another win. 97.
They won 19-7, bro. Come on, seriously.
What'd you say?
They won 19-7. Really, we're gonna be like, it was a win. I mean,
They won 19-7. But I'm saying, and then we get to the Las Vegas Raiders game, 99.4. But I give you, he got benched for Fitz.
Yeah, because he completed 17 passes for 94 yards. I mean, again, can we please stop with this?
Okay, touche, well played.
I mean, he's kicking ass this year. He's among the MVP contenders. Let's not pretend he was great as a rookie.
Okay.
For whatever circumstances were involved. I mean, and Josh Rosen sucked as a rookie as well. But again, was it impossible that he could be salvaged? No, nope. It was not impossible.
Yes, it was. Josh Rosen is every team that's looked at him says he's garbage.
Yeah, because he's got an attitude. But maybe you didn't know that you need to have him on your team to see that he wasn't willing to put in the work. Sean M., thank you very much. Yak Pack, let's go.
I think Yak Pack is respectable. I think we can put that as a semifinalist.
Oh, and by the way, for those who might fight back against Yak Pack by saying that Dolphins don't get a lot of yak, they lead the NFL in yak.
Yes.
And last week they had 235 yards of yak.
Mr. Wiggle. Mr. Wiggles, what do you wiggle? Why are you Mr. Wiggles? What am I missing?
I don't know.
Let's take a second. What's up, Eddie? Let's take a second to celebrate that Sean Payton and Deshaun Watson sweepstakes fell through. We would be in shambles right now.
Especially if you gave him the contracts that the Browns and the Saints gave him. That's what it makes the Deshaun Watson thing even worse. Is say what you want about signing him, but giving him the contract they gave him. Woo! Yeah. Bad. Brian Calatano, pay attention, please. Poop will never give Tua credit. Please pay attention. I thank you for watching, but please pay attention because I do give him credit. Okay,
you do give him credit. You do. You're just and I respect your position. Everybody is telling you how great he is. And he is phenomenal right now. He is
great. He's playing awesome.
He's an elite quarterback. He's an MVP candidate. He's one of the main driving forces why this team is who they are. I do not believe it runs like this with Mike White. I know I'm,
again, please do not misuse my words. I didn't say it's going to run the same with Mike White. It's not going to same with Mike White. The idea that it's going to completely fall apart, that's where I take an issue.
Is it going to Skylar Thompson?
That would be a step lower. I think that Mike White's clearly better equipped to handle. And by the way, 329 yards, Teddy Bridgewater in less than 3 quarters against Minnesota for those who are going to throw out. We'll see how it works. And by the way, Teddy Bridgewater never started and finished the game. For those who keep throwing that in my face, Teddy Bridgewater never started and finished the game.
I'm not going to allow any more Teddy Bridgewater talk or slander. Like, we don't need to bring up Teddy Bridgewater. Okay, Teddy Bridgewater.
The fans bring it up because I made the comment last year, which was along the same lines of I never, ever said it's going to be the same with Teddy Bridgewater. I said, if you think that the offense is just going to completely collapse if Bridgewater has to be in the lineup, I don't think that's accurate. And I'm going to say the same thing with Mike White. Again, there's too much around it to make it work. Not to the same level if Tua was
now the way that it's
last year as well too. Again, 329 yards in less than 3 quarters against Minnesota, and they win that game if Waddle doesn't fumble. What's he doing this year? Completely irrelevant. If Christopher, if you're asking about Teddy Bridgewater, that's completely irrelevant.
He's a backup in Detroit. He's a backup in Detroit. Teddy should be a backup in the why Teddy only struggled to get a job because he wasn't healthy. Like Teddy could be a backup in the league for like 10 years. He's probably going to be a coach somewhere when he's done.
He's solid, and a lot of fans didn't like him because he's very mellow, he's very laid back, and you look at him his demeanor, and a lot of people take it for he doesn't give a crap, but he's just a mellow guy. There, you don't have to be like a rah guy. Not everybody's like that. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. J Live Doe wants to see the pen that I took from.
From where?
David, I took a pen. Like I borrowed a pen because somehow I have a book bag that doesn't have a single pen in it, and I like to go in the locker room with a pen. So I asked David for a pen. David gave me a pen. He expected his pen back. It was a hotel pen.
You never gave it back.
No, I told him I wasn't giving it back. I'm like, it's a hotel pen, bro. You're not getting this back. Like it's now added to my gallery of pens. Like, and it just so happened to be from the MGM Grand, but it was a hotel pen. Like, bro, I'm not giving you back a hotel pen. And he brought it up on social media, and I basically was like, Debo, nah, that's my pen now.
That's funny. I got game New Jersey. Thank you very much. Last time Miami, this is going to be my area because I'm the old one here. Last time Miami started 5-1 was 2000. Dave Winstead was the head coach. Jay Fiedler was the QB. Also, it was the last often playoff win that you are correct, sir. And no, it was 2002. 2002, they were up to a 4-1 start. They had a great Sunday night win against Denver, except that Jay Fiedler was off to maybe his best start with the Dolphins, broke his thumb late in the game. Ray Lucas had to start the next 3 games. They lost all 3, and they wound up missing the playoffs at 9-7. That was the year that Ricky led the NFL in rushing. But you're right about 2000. Last time they won, playoff game December 30th, 2000 against the Colts.
Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about 95 South boys?
Is that a play on something?
There used to be a rap group, 95 South.
Oh,
and okay. It's at 95 South. You take 95 South to get to Miami. It doesn't. No,
well, to me, I take a 26 East, so to get to the stadium, so it doesn't work for me.
Grind was so overrated. Are you friggin' kidding me? Like,
what happened? I missed that.
Somebody Maddie Blue 80 says Grimes was so overrated. You got to be kidding me, bro. Grimes is
maybe the best cornerback in Dolphin history. Other than that, yes, he was overrated. I got to read this one. It's funny. David Pridham, would Sonny Wade have prospered in Dolphins system? Sonny Wade, Omar, I know you don't know the name. Sonny Wade was a Canadian Football League quarterback, played for the Montreal Alouettes. I want to say probably 1970-71. That's funny. Thanks for making me laugh. I like that.
Cat 5 on Sunday. Can't wait.
What's Cat 5 on Sunday?
I think that we're still going through submissions for nicknames.
Got it.
Cat 5.
How about Formula Fins?
I know Tom Garfinkel would like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the little cross promotion right there. Great. Oh, Grimes was awesome, but I'll take prime healthy Xavier Howard. I think you're forgetting how good Grimes was. I mean, I like X. And Grimes was 3 years, but damn, he was good. That's a tough call right there, isn't it?
X is going to get me the ball, but
Grimes are going to get you the ball. Grimes got
everything came so easy to Brant. I would still pick Brant. Brant was like a football savant, and it didn't matter, and he didn't care. Whatever you want to do, he's fine. I'm not necessarily certain that X is extremely scheme diverse. So, and X is not the athlete that Brent is. Like, Brent is like ridiculous freak of nature. Like, X has just got phenomenal ball skills. Like, if he was a wide receiver, he'd be phenomenal. But Brent was just amazing. Brent was always phenomenal.
Prime and Sam Madison. Prime is in Deion Sanders. Oh, no, or Optimus Prime. Sorry. Or Optimus. No, I'm not sure who you're referring to. Not sure. Poop loves Teddy and Omar loves X. I love Teddy because I happen to think he'd have been able to operate the offense again had he been able to start and finish a game last year. And I love X too. Actually, X I think is a hell of a player.
Miami cheaters. Todd Tollfree, Miami cheaters. Come on, man. Everybody cheating in the NFL. They just got caught. They got sloppy. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Like,
Grimes pick over Megatron. Yeah, that was a hell of a pick.
Then
again, the X had one of those against Tyreek Hill actually in 2020, if you remember. That same type of like jumping one-handed reach out. Motion by the ocean. Do we like that?
It's kind of lame to me, but I mean,
we'll take that as a no.
Motion by the ocean. I think about having, relations.
Hey now, okay.
Plus
Miami Garden's not that close to the Atlantic Ocean either.
We're pretty close.
What? 25 minutes by car?
It's better than a lot of other places.
Well, yeah, if you live in St. Louis, it would be relatively close, yes.
Yak Attack?
I said that already.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. No, you said Yak Pack.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yak Attack. I like Yak Pack better than I like Yak Attack.
All right.
Joseph, should we go after Justin Simmons if he's available? Money doesn't work.
Yeah, no. We there ain't no money to go after anybody, bro. Dolphins are like at $2.2 million in cap space.
Yep.
And now there are ways to create cap space, but that depletes your roster. And what I find very interesting about what's going on right now, roster-wise, is that they feel like they can't cut anybody. Like, we're all in this together. We can't cut we can't cut a Deion Smith and demote him to the practice squad, or Perry Nickerson and demote him to practice squad. They're like, yeah, we got to keep things going the way we're going. And I can respect it. But
it's going to come. It's going to come for Keon Smith. I'm sorry to say that for him. But
what'd you say?
I said it's going to come for Keon Smith. When Teron Armstead and Robert Jones get activated, yeah, me thinks Keon Smith said it to the practice squad.
Mm-hmm. Go over the top of receiver. Grimes could do whatever he wants. I just saw somebody comment Grimes could go over the top of receivers, and I'm like, bro, Grimes could do whatever he wanted. Grimes is probably one of the best athletes that I've ever seen. I'm my loyalties are to his wife, not him. And he was a phenomenal athlete, and he could probably still play in the NFL right now if he wanted to. But they're focused on their son, and their son's in a tennis academy, and helping their son become a tennis player, using both of their athleticism to become the next Andy Roddick, and they're locked in. But when Brent could still play when he retired, he probably still play right now. Probably still help this team as a nickel.
Yeah, the only thing I recall from his game that didn't stand out was run defense, run support, and X was good at that at one point. He's not anymore. He's kind of like a bit shy.
X was good at run support.
At one point, he was solid again in run support.
X ain't trying to tackle nobody.
He was not Vontae Davis, but he wasn't bad.
X ain't trying to tackle nobody. X is never, no disrespect. X is never.
Come on, man.
Nah, X ain't.
Early on in his career. Did I imagine this?
You imagine? You must be having fantasies about Vontae Davis, because that was not an X. X was like X has no desire to tackle anybody. None.
Vontae Davis, I don't know. I have no idea.
And I don't blame them either. They don't, as I've heard from quarterback, they don't pay me to tackle people. Like I'm not. That's not what my job is. And
didn't pay Vontae to do that either. And he was great at it. He was a great tackler. And Cater's a great tackler too.
Cater is a great tackler.
Chris Barnes, you all should put a background on the screen to make it more official. Haha, fins up.
We're working on that, Chris. We're getting there. We're getting there. So it's a slow process, but we're getting there. We're going to ramp up. Next week, this is for the people in the live chat. We are officially free agents. We will not be on an audio platform until we sign a new deal. We're listening to people. We're having conversations.
We're audio free agents.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out which record label we want to sign to. So it took us a minute to get out of the existing deal. We got our freedom, and now we're trying to figure out what record label we want to sign to. We don't want producers all up in our videos, singing on the song, doing ad libs. We're just trying to figure out how to run this to make it work for us and work for you guys. But we will have, as soon as we as soon as we pick a record label, we will be back on the audio platforms. Do you feel different about the roster depth? Yeah, that's a great question, Eddie, because I talked about it earlier in the week. I still have concerns and issues about defensive tackle depth. At the time, I had concerns about outside linebacker depth. Andrew Van Ginkel's clearly shut me up on that. I still have concern about inside linebacker depth. Andrew Van Ginkel's clearly shut me up on that. And I think he's going to be the starting inside linebacker when they're – and I think there's going to be some pushback on that. I think there's going to be some pushback on that. He's playing both spots, still working at both spots. If Jalen Phillips comes back, the snaps that Jalen takes as an edge player, Andrew Van Ginkel might go inside.
Agreed.
And there are players who do not want him to go back inside. There are players that want him to remain on the edge, because why are you taking out the best edge guy we have just to accommodate other people when they haven't proven that they can be as productive as Andrew Van Ginkel?
Who, pray tell, might you be referring to?
I don't know. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Or maybe they just split the edge.
They're going to all rotate, yes.
Well, but the edge rep 3 ways, which unfortunately leaves a certain friend of yours out, who, by the way, won an NFL Community Award on Friday. Major props to Emmanuel Ogbah for that. But I think it could be that Vic Fangio, maybe if he analyzes the situation, decides, yeah, I got to keep him outside, and then does a straight 3-way rotation where Phillips and Chubb will get the first snaps because they are the starters, but Van Ginkel plays as many snaps as they do.
So here's the most important thing, though. Who plays third downs?
Rotation.
No.
Whoever is fresh, whoever's having a good game.
And I think that the possibility of all 3 being on the field for third downs is very high. And
Where?
Inside. And
who's inside?
Van Ginkel. Inside linebacker.
Dropping back then.
Yes.
They usually drop back their inside linebackers.
Yes. No. If Van Ginkel could drop back, he's done it. He's done his whole career. But keep in mind, think about this. Just hear me out.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, that's all I do. Go ahead.
Okay. Jerome, very underutilized blitzer. 20-something sacks in his career. Very underutilized. Never, ever gets to blitz. But he's proven that I'm a good blitzer. I can time it quite well. Andrew Van Ginkel can blitz, can twist and stunt from the inside, and you have the edges there. So you've got 4 pressure players, not even accounting for the defensive lineman. Now, if you are willing to get a little creative and be less rigid in what you do, Vic Fangio, you can potentially have 6 pressure players in the front and maybe make the defense guess who's coming and who's going and who's dropping. Because shouldn't your outside linebackers
– sounds like a zone blitz.
Yeah. Shouldn't your outside linebackers be dropping guys? Right? Yes. Right? Yes.
I haven't seen it this year.
I haven't either, but they're supposed to. That's the reason why they stand up. Like, I just need some more creativity and less rigidity from Vic Fangio. And I get it.
How about in 3rd and long, you supplement your edge defenders with Emmanuel Ogbah with his hand on the ground as in a defensive tackle position?
Make
some use of them.
I've said that since we began podcast number 44, and here we still are. I've let Emmanuel Ogbah go. Emmanuel's just doing what he can do to keep his head down and cash his checks. And he knows he's going to have to start over fresh somewhere else next year. But he's shown you that he can be a pressure player with his hand in the ground. He's not a stand-up player.
But he's a stand-up guy.
Yes. And maybe you should incorporate a fourth. Maybe you should incorporate a 4-3.
Correct. Acknowledge my joke, damn it. He's not a stand-up player, but he's a stand-up guy. Come on.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Torres, Omar Kelly, you think the Dolphins trade Wilkins to the Rams and a pick for Aaron Donald? I'm not talking fantasy. Like, Rams ain't trading Aaron Donald.
Not happening.
It's not happening. Nobody's trading for Christian Wilkins because he's basically on a shakedown. Even though Nick Chubb got traded for a shakedown. Hey, if you want a first round pick, you can have Christian Wilkins. If you want to offer up a first round pick, you can have Christian Wilkins. I don't think anybody's going to do that.
Right, you're not for a guy who needs a new contract. Yeah, you're not going to get this. I like this question.
Dolphins traded for Bradley Chubb.
And how's that working out? I'm sorry. This is a good question. I like this question. CM Punk is your daddy. Thank you for the donation. If there was one player you can bring back to the roster from last season who left, who would it be? Omar, I know exactly what your answer is going to be.
I don't know. I don't know. Who?
Landon Roberts is your guy. Come on.
Landon Roberts hates me. Like, how's he my guy?
But you like him as a player.
I do like him as a player. Yes. Okay. I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm still thinking like Eric Rowe, but Eric Rowe can't play anymore. Yeah. I mean, really, Landon Roberts. I never really got the David Long and Landon Roberts swap. I just didn't make sense.
Coverage.
I'm curious what Landon Roberts is doing this year.
Well, my answer is Teddy Bridgewater. I'm joking, everyone. I am joking.
He would be a better backup. Don't pretend like he wouldn't be.
He would be, but I'm joking. He would not be my answer to this question. It would be. They didn't really lose a ton of players of consequence, if we're going to be very honest about it.
Yes. No.
I think Roberts, because I like what Roberts brings. He brings a thumper to the defense, which they don't really have.
Landon Roberts has started 5 games for the Steelers. He's got 31 tackles right now. How many snaps has he played? Is he just like a 2-down linebacker?
He's a starter.
No, he's played 144 snaps no, he's a 2-down linebacker. He's played 39% of snaps.
Right, but that's what he is.
Yeah, well, in Miami he played 50, 55, 59, 48% of the snaps.
Which he shouldn't.
Nah, don't do that to that man can play. All right.
Couldn't play that many. I'm trying to think of the other guys who left. Trent Sherfield, Thomas Morstead. I mean, we're talking about a punter. It's not very relevant, but Jake Bailey had a 20-yarder last week, which is not good. Didn't matter in the game against the Giants, but at some point, a 20-yarder is gonna come back to bite you. Melvin Ingram, no. John Jenkins.
He's supposed to be playing well. Somebody just hit me up this week and said John Jenkins is like a starter for the Raiders, and he's playing well.
Okay, he'd be somebody the Dolphins could use back.
Yes, St. Eddie basically says Aaron Donald's been trying to retire for 2 seasons. Yeah, you're right, and he's also pimping and cashing them checks. And
stupidly expensive. Huh? Somebody mentions Brandon Shell. Brandon Shell's retired, so
yeah. And the way what's his name? Austin Jackson is playing. You clearly don't need Brandon Shell. I just want Teron Armstead back. I just saw him in the locker room Friday. Can't wait for another 3 weeks. Just 3 more weeks.
No, and Kendall Lamb's better at left tackle than Brandon Shell was last year when he played there a couple of times.
Kendall Lamb's a beast. Allowed his first sack last week, but he's a beast. Hopefully his body doesn't physically wear down, because I can suspect that's beginning to happen.
Karen's funny, goes, Omar didn't say Mike Gesicki? That's funny. That's funny. I'm sorry, but that's funny. You know what? I think that's probably as good a note as any to.
And on a Mike Gesicki high note.
On a high note, on a laugh. Well, we're going to thank everyone for joining us, watching, interacting, all that good stuff.
Contributing,
even those who gave me a hard
and you guys that are contributing, you are firmly sponsoring our rebrand, and it's coming, it's working. We got Mark, a gentleman named Mark, can't name his company right now because I can't remember it, who he just showed us the logo and the face plate for the podcast. I'll tweet it out after we're done because I think you approved it, right? You're good.
I did. I liked it.
All right, we're under construction next week. You'll find us on YouTube. We'll be here every day. We're trying to get our act together, though.
Don't want to ignore Noel. Thank you very much. Between the Eagles and the Chiefs, which team do you think the Dolphins have the best chance against?
Chiefs.
Matchup
with the Eagles is a nightmare.
Because the Eagles are so good on both lines.
Their trenches. If you lose the game in the trenches, you don't have a chance. And Tua will have to put on a cape. And woo!
He's just a man to do it.
Huh?
He's just a man to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. I got a little passive aggressive. You gonna lie? I felt a little passive aggressive. Hey, read my shirt, okay?
I'm always kind. Am I not always kind? You're the one who's the meanie, not me.
I am not mean.
You had to declare this is as Omar is being nice week. Do you not recall that?
I'm going to try to do better. And give
I'm a Canadian native. We're all nice people. Stan D man, thank you very much. My super chat was missed earlier. Sorry about that. It's all good. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Question: would you start Savon this week in fantasy over Jonathan Taylor? I know Indy's playing Jacksonville. I want to say the game's in Indy, I believe.
Jonathan Taylor just got paid, man. They're going to try to justify that as much as possible. But I do think that no, not with Lee Eichenberg there. No, sorry.
Yeah, well, and Zach Moss rushed for 161 last week. I think this might be a Jonathan Taylor. And the thing with the Dolphin running backs is you never know who's going to pop. Yeah, so I think Jonathan Taylor's is a safer play.
Yeah, you never know who's going to pop. Do I think Savon's going to have a good game? Yes, because Savon has been robbed of his opportunity. Hey, you get hurt, that's what happens, man. But I think he's gonna really do well. I think he's gonna max it out. And even Frank Smith said, when he mentioned the Houston game, he's like, he produced 2 big plays in the Houston game. Like he's shown you he can get it done. And those A-chain plays were Devon's plays. I mean, those Devon plays, were Savon's plays.
Correct. No, I want to see them that 3 running backs, 1 tight end on the field. They motion Jalen Waddle in the backfield and then do the end around with Devon Achane. I mean, I was funky.
But the first 25, I don't know why they call it 25 because I usually knew it was 20. I guess I don't know when it grew to 25, but their first 20, they call it 25. I don't know why.
What do you mean scripted?
Yeah, their scripted stuff.
Yeah, see, for me it was 15. So see, there you go. Inflation, I guess. Everything.
Yeah. Their scripted stuff is it's like you don't know what to expect, but they're basically and what I love about what they do is they just attack your weaknesses with those players.
That play call was just wow.
Yeah.
What? I mean, that was so cool.
I think Jalen Waddle, because they're really trying to get Jalen going. And I think he's going to have a good day.
There you go. That's your fantasy tip of the day.
Tip of the day.
Omar and I are going to be back tomorrow after the game. Let's say 5:15. Omar, does that sound about right?
Sounds about right. Okay. I want to hear some of the coaches and some of the press conferences. So yeah, and go inside the locker room, get a sense of what was going on. All right, folks. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. You can find us on YouTube under All Dolphins. Soon we'll be on all podcast sites under All Dolphins or alldolphins.com podcast. Just keep it universal. But we will be back tomorrow at about 5:15. So look for us at about 5 o'clock.
In the meantime, smash that like button and do whatever it is you do on YouTube.
And
Thanks, everyone.
thank you. I'm gonna tweet out our new podcast faceplate so you guys can see it. And thank you for all the contributions. So we're working.
Oh, we do that.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.